have Jasmine Balat, and she's going to join us. And Jasmine, I'm going to ask you a question right off the bat because you're just coming into this group of girls. Tell me what makes you feel vulnerable. Because it has to be hard to walk in, a whole bunch of girls, they have this new thing, you can't sit with us. Have you heard that? And wherever it stems from, it has to be hard to walk into a group of women and hope that they will accept you, but not know. We can all be sitting here like, oh shit. Yeah. We're not, I hope we're not. And if we are, we'll get to it. Like, how does it make you feel? Tell me about being vulnerable.
Being vulnerable. That probably is one of maybe my hardest areas, is just being vulnerable to other people and just allowing other people in my space. Shamika knows a little bit about that as far as me being more transparent and more, you know, open to showing people my flaws and being honest with some of the things, you know, some of the things that I struggle with. And I just had to learn that, you know, people have to accept me for who I am. I had to accept myself for who I am. And it took me a while to do that.
Can I ask you a question? How did you learn to accept yourself? Or are you still in the process?
I'm still in the process of accepting myself for who I am, but I've come a long way. And it took me about 30 years, I'm 32 now, and it took me about 30 years to finally say, you know what, this is me, this is who I am, I'm happy, I'm growing. And I think that's what it is. Once you start growing, you know, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you just start to know who you really are. And once you start to know who you really are, you start to really accept it, and you start to make changes. And I think that's one of the hardest things, is knowing when to make changes. You know, we have faults, but sometimes we don't want to change. You know, somebody's telling you something like, you're like,
right.
Yeah, okay. You know, but.
So tell me something that you are currently trying to change, and tell me about that process.
Something, I would say, this is a hard one. I can tell you something that I had changed.
Okay, sure.
I used to have a really bad attitude.
Really?
Yes.
That's new to me.
I used to really have a bad attitude. I mean, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was very I didn't care about meeting new people. It's like, I just have my friends. It is who, you know, that's just who my friends are. I wasn't accepting to other people. It was just like, whatever. If somebody tells me something, I wouldn't care. It would just go in one ear and leave the next. Or, you know, if somebody would tell me something about myself, I would just start arguing with them. I would never really think about it. I would just start arguing and start going off the bad, and I'm not talking to you anymore. And I had to realize that that wasn't right. And I was doing that from a young age. So
what do you think triggered that? What made you have that attitude? And I'm asking because there might be someone watching, or someone right here on the couch. I was like, yeah, that's me. I have a bad attitude sometimes too. What triggered that for you? Was it something in your childhood? Was it something that you did to offend someone? And sometimes when we hurt other people, instead of being remorseful or repentant, we become angry and abrasive.
Right.
So it has the opposite effect.
Right.
But what was it that?
It was me just actually really seeing the reaction of other people, seeing what I did, seeing how it affected them, you know, hearing it. You always have a nasty attitude. Why do you have an attitude, you know? And I mean, I always thought I was nice. It's just that if I didn't want to deal with you, I wasn't going to, you know, deal with you. And I had to say, no, that wasn't right. And I think one of my friends, it was something, she came up to me and I was just like, okay, I don't want to hear what you have to say. And I just like turned around and walked away. And she was like, you know, why do you always do that? You just have an attitude. Like, I just want to, you know, I'm just talking to you. And I'm just like, but I don't want to hear what you have to say. And then I had to really think about that. Like, I shouldn't be doing that, you know, and this is my friend. And then I just had to sit back and just think about little things that I used to do and say to myself I had to stop doing it. And again, growing spiritually also, you know, knowing, you know, do unto others as you want done to you. And that was like one of the biggest lessons for me. So now I'm not like that. I'm open to meeting new people. I'm like, hey, you know, and yeah.
Do you feel freer? Don't you feel freer? Like when you don't have that burden of having to protect yourself?
Yeah, I do.
And that's one thing I think about vulnerability, because we are all really being vulnerable. Vulnerability is about having the courage to say, I acknowledge something's not right and I'm willing to fix it. And or I acknowledge that I'm in a new situation, but I'm willing to be confident and stand feet planted and embrace where I am. So I want to talk about vulnerability a little bit, and I'm going to go to Quincy. Quincy, I want you to tell me about how you feel being here today. Do you feel vulnerable, and why?
Yes. When I first came in here, I was very intimidated. Very, very intimidated. It was like, you all are so beautiful. And I was like, okay, I'm just like, so I feel out of place. I don't feel like everybody's stylish in here and very beautiful. And I felt like, yeah, this is not the place for me. I don't fit. And you guys seem, one, I know you all pretty much know each other. But for me coming from the outside, not knowing anyone, I feel insecure. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to say? I had to make sure that I came out of myself, because normally I'll just shut down. And okay, if someone says something, I'll respond. Okay, well, Quincy, no, let you ask a question about someone because you want to engage and get, you know. So it was very intimidating.
So you had to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
You know what, Court, it's something that someone shared with me recently, and it sounds so simple, but in regards to vulnerability and being your own self, as like she said, you know what? No one else's opinion of me should change my opinion of me. And I think the problem with being vulnerable is like you don't know how's that, oh my gosh, what are they gonna think? Like I can say right now, when I shed them tears, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna think? Like Maria's the crier. So it's like, even in the moment, I know what that feels like. Because it's like you don't want to, in a sense, you're giving away your power. But you have to kind of like talk back to yourself. I just had a whole conversation up here. Like I just had a whole conversation. Yeah, I had a whole conversation like, no, Maria, like that's not what it is. But you know, we're trained to think that vulnerability is a problem, you know, and it's a weakness. And down to, I know me, and like, you know, I'm in a relationship, and that was a hard part of like the love and being in love. It's like, I don't want to be vulnerable, you know? But like, I noticed that when I just expressed how I felt, and effectively communicated like, this is how I feel, and this is why I feel this way. Instead of out of that vulnerability start attacking, you know? Because out of the vulnerability we can start like, oh, you don't, and da-da-da-da-da, you get defensive, and and all it does is kind of like cause a bigger argument. Was like, well, you know, I could have put the dishes away. You know, you're like, well, you don't care about me, you don't understand, you don't put the dishes away, and they're looking, and you know, the men are looking at us like, it's just the dishes. She's crazy. You know what I mean? But we're holding all this stuff in. But now, when it happens, or when there's a moment of just saying, okay, I'm feeling away. Why do I feel away? And what I notice, what I do now, I tell you, I have there's like 5 people in here. I have these conversations with my husband. I'm like, Maria, why do you feel that way? Do you feel rejected? If you feel rejected, why do you feel rejected? Is your work, like, you know, like, do you need recognition? Why? And I assess that. And then when I get to the root of the problem, I'm like, it's really not that serious.
And that's excellent. I was speaking earlier, and I was talking about transitions and how I'm in a transition just personally, you know, me disclosing in my life where I'm going from the girl that I have known for 20 some odd years. I'm very comfortable with her. I know, you know, her quirks. I know her insecurities. I know her strengths, her vulnerabilities. And I'm transitioning now from that girl into this woman who feels completely unprepared for the vision that she sees in front of her. She feels completely inadequate. And I love what you said about not being or not feeling good enough, because I'm in this transition where it's like, I know who I am or was, and that place is comfortable, you know, and a lot of people have a fear of failure, and I don't really understand that, because we've all failed. Like, failure is comfortable. You know what I mean? So like, you almost kind of expect it, like, it might not work out. Right, I could fail. But my fear, honest to goodness, is not of failure, it's of success. Because I'm afraid of the responsibility and the, I guess, the discipline that it takes to maintain wherever it is I'm going. So I want to talk about our fears and our transitions. Where are you going? Tell me about your transition and tell me what you're afraid of. I'm going to start with Jasmine.
I would have to say, as far as transitioning, I would have to say my fear is more of really putting myself out there 110%. And just really putting myself where people expect it. Like, okay, this is what she does, and this is her name, this is behind her name, so she needs to deliver. And my fear is, okay, I have to do this. If I don't do this, then they're gonna be like, what has she been talking about? You know, she's saying all of this, and this is behind her name, but she's not owning up to what she has created as far as her brand. And that's probably one of my biggest fears, is not meeting those expectations, because I don't want to look like I'm just full of it, you know?
Right.
So
like an imposter.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to feel like a fraud.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell us what it is that you do? Because I know.
I do makeup as well. I'm a freelance makeup artist as well. I am currently in school also for my graduate degree, and I am working on starting a business. So I'm doing all of these things, and I think sometimes people look at me like, oh my goodness, you're always on the go. You're always doing this, you're always doing that. And I think that's one of my biggest things, because I'm always doing something, and it's like I haven't really reached yet. I'm doing so much, but where am I?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, she's in school. Right, it's like, okay, she's in school, but why isn't she making why is she making the big money? Oh, she's a freelance, but we don't see her posting enough pictures, or, you know, so it's like, you're doing so much, but where are you really going? And that's something that I'm struggling with, but because I see it, and I know it's there, I see it. I know I'm gonna get there, you know, so that's.
Melanie, tell me where you're going and what you're afraid of.
It's a deep one. The end all be all, because I thought I had an idea of what I wanted, and that has all changed. Going into school, I knew, and even from back when I was in junior high school, fashion industry, definitely want to be in it, sketching. My relatives, you speak to my uncle or aunt, they'll tell you I was always in the house doing that. But I started, I think, just from life happening around me and letting everyone's opinions affect me and what I thought that I wanted, and not thinking that I am good enough to do it at times, most of the times, is the biggest thing that kind of discouraged me from wanting to actually reach for it. So ultimately, I do want to still be in the fashion industry world, and in whatever regards that means. I know wardrobe styling was something that I've expressed to Maria when I first met her, that is definitely something that's my true love. But for some reason, I'm just so scared to like really delve into it, and I don't know why. I know that I'm a hard worker. I'm capable of making everything happen, but for some reason, I just let myself pretty much captivate anything that I can do to like really take the initiative in making it happen.
Do you think you self-sabotage?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
I'm the worst. Like, I think even with family and loving friends who have a good support system, I still feel like with all of that, that means nothing. I kind of put that to the back burner. It's like, okay, great, I hear you, thank you for the advice, but I'm still attacking myself and my own thoughts.
And I'm going to go around, but I do want to come back to the idea of why we just don't feel like we deserve this destiny that's in front of us. Like, we don't deserve to be who God has created us to be. I want to talk about that, but I want to go around. So Dana, tell me, where are you going and what are you afraid of?
My biggest fear is failure. So you're saying, like, for me, failure hurts.
Yes.
You fall, it hurts, I bruise, something broke. Failure to me hurts. My biggest fear is failure because I've always made everything happen.
Okay.
I don't really know what it is to fail.
Okay.
I try, I put in the work. It doesn't always materialize the way in which I thought it would.
Right.
But if a door closes, I'm creeping around the back, I'm over the bushes, I'm in the window, and I still get in the house.
Right.
So for me, that's still a success. Whether you know, so my biggest fear is failure. What is that going to feel like when, you know what, by hook or crook, damn it, Dana, you really just cannot make this happen.
Yeah.
That, being an entrepreneur and everything, I look at myself like, hey girl, you're 31, you starting this business, you don't really have the savings like you're supposed to. Like, you know, financially, you're not responsible like the rest of your, you know, your friends are, that kind of thing. So I feel like behind the bar and not being able to have a family because I am so career focused. So I want to make sure I do get that Claire Huxtable have it all moment. Honestly. So those three things are my fear. Whether or not the business will be a success does not scare me because I know it will.
Right.
Will I be in San Tropez 2015 tossing bangs? Yes. That doesn't concern me. That doesn't concern me. Will I find someone though who believes in marriage the way I do? Because as a product of a divorce that was ugly, I don't want to ever put my kids through that. I don't know. That scares me. Right. Will I have, you know, kids? Will they like me? You know, me and my bangs.
Right.
That concerns me. So it's, I don't know. I feel kind of weird in that regard. Like, you know, some people are like, you're not afraid to, you know, freelance and start it, but no. But I'm afraid to go on this date next Thursday. Like, I don't know if I want to go.
And that's so powerful because that might not be somebody's fear. Like, someone is watching thinking she's absolutely insane. But I think that's so powerful because someone else is watching like, yes! That's exactly, she articulated exactly what I'm feeling, you know? I love that. I love that, how we can be completely different, but we're all the same, you know?
Oh gosh.
Maria.
Okay. It's a tough question. I know where I'm going, you know, and my security comes from because I know it's been ordained by God. You know, I know God has his hand. But you see, I just don't want to go through, I joke, I said, I don't want to go through 40 years in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, that's the part that scares me. Like, Lord, like, I get it. I'll have this testimony, great. Like, you know what I mean? I get it, but I don't want to, you know, that's the part I fear. Like, the to whom much is given, much is required. The required part. And Dana, and it's like, I've never been scared to do anything in my life. So I was like, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it, and we're going to give it 100%. So I'm a firm believer, like, you know, if you sow seeds, it'll grow. And I believe in my vision, and I know where I'm going. And I'm like, I see it. It's happening. You know, me and Dana will be together in San Tropez. You know what I mean? But flipping the bangs, you know, because mine's is a little wavy. But yeah, it's that whole 40 years in the wilderness, like, you know, like, it's just the process, you know, and it's just like, you know, sometimes God sheds you of things, and I'm scared of that. I'm like, okay, God, do everything, but please don't do that. Please don't do that. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that scares me. It's the required part. It's the cost. It's the, oh my gosh, this is what I had to go through. I get it that it'll be the glory in the end. But can I just get to the glory? Like, you know, I don't want to deal with all of that stuff. So that's the part that scares me, is all that stuff that you have to go through.
That's excellent. Quincy, tell me where you're going and tell me what scares you.
What scares me is the unknown. A lot of things, like, I can go on rides, amusement park rides, roller coasters. I'm daring like that. I want to skydive.
I mean
that for some reason doesn't scare me. I went to Hawaii by myself. That didn't scare me, but fear of the unknown, fear of disappointing other people who know you can do it, but you can't see it for yourself. And when that hurts, that for me to feel like I disappointed someone is the worst thing, to let anyone down. Fear of not succeeding, knowing that there is someplace I'm supposed to go and not knowing how to carry it out. Like, I say an entrepreneur, there's a business I want to start, and I know I need to get together and start doing it, but it's hard. I'm like, what if it does take off? What do I do then? I don't know what or how I'm going to continue to do this. So that's what's scary to me. How do I maintain it? And also just being comfortable in my skin is fearful. And just really, no matter what anyone thinks or says, at the end of the day, how do I feel? It's hard because my mind, I'm a thinker. I think.
Connect dots.
I sure do. And that's basically it. So it's just trying to not fear, just to keep, regardless if I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, just focus on today and keep it moving.
That's excellent. So you told me a lot about your fears. Tell me where you're going. I listen.
I was hoping you weren't paying attention to that.
Because sometimes we don't know.
To be honest, I don't know. I would say I'm lying, like, oh yeah, tomorrow I know this, and this, but I really don't know. You would think at 40 I would, but no.
And there's someone that needs to hear you say that. And we're gonna figure it out. Shamika, tell me where you are going and tell me what you are afraid of.
What's so crazy about that question is I am experiencing that right now. In the eyes of everyone else, I am accomplished, I am successful, I am doing my thing. When I sign up for all those networks and it's just me in my room, I am in a fetal position like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can post all the shoots and pictures and all the things and all the people I've met, but I still have no clue what's happening.
Yes.
So the trusting process and the unknown is what is really scaring me because I love to have control over myself. I don't care about having control over other people, but not knowing what's next for me scares the mess out of me because I like to be like, I got this, and I feel like my place, I'm at a plateau because I've done so much in such a short time that I don't know what's happening next. So in terms of that chord, I'm with you. I like to say that they're fraternal twins because my fears, because I don't want to fail, because there's so many people watching me, and I didn't want that kind of attention. But now that I have all the eyes on me, I'm like, I have to make it. So that's where the success comes in because I don't want to fail, and I'm scared to keep going, even though I know the plan that has been sown. I already know the seed that's been planted, so it's inevitable that I'm going to be amazing at whatever I do. But it's just to keep going, keep going. It's like, man. So that it's just very fearful attaining all that I have because my brain, I think you were just saying that your brain just keeps going. I'm a thinker, and thinking really can mess you up. Your thoughts, especially when you're by yourself.
Oh, yes.
Your thoughts by yourself will mess you up. So I think about all the things that I haven't accomplished or things that I knew that I should have accomplished, and I'll sign on or look on the web and I see someone else has done it. And I'm like, that was my idea. But I didn't jump on it. So the blessing was given to someone else. So that's usually those are my fear, is succeeding and failing. It's a dual process for me.
I understand that. And where are you going?
Where am I going? I'm going high places because as much as I fight myself on the things that's been planted in me, I'm moving. It's a slow pace, but I'm moving. And just trying to reinvent myself because that plateau has gotten me stuck lately. So just being steadfast and being consistent. I can't reveal what's about to happen.
No, that's okay. don't tell them. Show them.
I'm not gonna put it out there for y'all.
Don't tell them. Show them.
So much is about to happen for me, but I have to just stay prayerful and steadfast. So I already know what's happening. I just can't look backwards.
That's right. Miss Gina, tell us where you're going and tell us what you're afraid of.
Okay. I always thought I knew where I was gonna go. I wanted to work in the music industry for as long as I can remember. And now I'm here. And now I've got this dream job at Atlantic Records, like I always said I was going to do. I majored in music business management. Like there was only one thing that I could do with that. And then I got here and I'm like, is this everything that I thought I was gonna be? Is this everything I thought I wanted? And I grew up in a household with 2 Harvard-educated parents where college and graduate degrees were expected, and that's something that has to happen. That's not negotiable. And I grew up in this family where I've never struggled. I've never had to. I'm not in debt. I don't have any debt from college. I went to the school of my dreams. I have this incredible life that growing up I fought so hard against. I did not want to be that girl. I went to private school. I was that girl. And I didn't want to be her, so I fought it and I fought it and I fought it tooth and nail, and I rebelled so hard against my parents in this life they created for me because I never wanted to be the little rich girl who just had everything she ever wanted.
Right.
I didn't want to be that girl. And now that I'm older and I see what an incredible blessing it is and the incredible opportunities that I have because of my parents and how hard they worked to create this life for me and my sister, I feel completely entitled in a sense to be amazing. I have to be amazing.
Wow.
And I have to be this incredible woman and entrepreneur. And now that I'm thinking, maybe this music business thing, it's cool for now, but what do I really want to do? How do I want to support my family? How do I want to build this life for myself? And I see my father's legacy and what he's created, and I don't want that to go by the wayside. I've now come into this thought process where it's like, you know what? I'm the oldest of 2. My sister has absolutely no interest in the business at all, in the family business at all. And you know what? I want to pick up that. And I want to pick up where he left off. And I want to grow this. And my biggest fear in life is that I'm going to fail. And if I fail, it's on me. Because I never had to worry about anything. I never had to struggle. It won't be because I didn't grow up having it. It wouldn't be because I didn't get that education. It didn't be because I didn't have that opportunity. That failure is going to be on me and me only. And that's the scariest thing in the world for me. And it's so hard for me to articulate that to people because everybody's gonna look at me like, girl, you just have it all. You grew up this way, and you don't. What do you know about struggle? What do you know about sacrifice? And it's like, it was never a financial thing for me. It was never a lack of support. It was always an internal thing. Yeah. And my biggest fear is to take my children to my parents' home and have them look around and say, Mommy, this is how you grew up, and to not have that for them. And to not have that, exactly that or more for them. Because my parents built it from nothing. I'm starting somewhere.
There's a platform.
I'm already at this place, and the only way I can go is up, because if I digress, that's a failure for me. Wow. And
that's intense.
That's different than everyone else's
Absolutely.
story.
And it's so beautiful that we can be in so many different places. We all have these fears, and we all have these apprehensions about what's going to happen in our future, but our backgrounds are so different. I would look at a girl that had it all and say, child, please, like, what are you talking about? What is your struggle?
Give me a little bit of
Go ask go ask your dad for some money. We have no empathy for other people's experiences. But how powerful?
That's deep.
How powerful? Does it not make you think differently about everyone else's experience? You're not so quick to judge. It's something warring inside of me that's making me war with you.
As I get older, I'm like, I learned, let me carry my stuff, you carry yours, and what I can help you with, I will.
Some of us have been it. I have been it. I'll be honest. There was a time when it was so mean. It was because I felt ugly, so I didn't want anyone to come in and feel better than me.
I am the first one to say, I can fix everyone else's problems, but don't get started on me.
One thing that I learned is that there's a difference between happiness and joy. And happiness is based on what's happening in your life. So you have a bad day, you're not happy. You have a good day, you are happy. But joy is something that's consistent.
The thing that I'm masking is that I hate asking, and I feel less than because I have to ask for help.